Welcome everyone today to our show. We've got a very special guest with us, Austin Kelly, who is the CEO and founder of Christian Channel and also the director of Knights of the Christ Cross, a Catholic mini-series that is going to be released soon, and it's a very powerful one. He's going to tell us all about it, the motivation behind the Knights of the Cross, as well as how we can access it and why it's so important for us, especially these days. Thanks, Austin, for joining us. Lovely to see you. Lovely to meet you.
You as well, Ron. I'm really happy to be here and share, a little bit about the show and about the Catholic history behind it and the Crusades. So I'm excited to share.
Yes, let's start with the St. Michael prayer and ask for his defense, especially for our Christian faith, and ask him to look over us and to guide us in our podcast today. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in the day of battle. Be our safeguard against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God restrain him, we humbly pray. Do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of Almighty God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who roam throughout the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. We were talking before the show, Austin, and I was saying how awesome it is that you are willing to dedicate yourself to creating Catholic miniseries, Catholic movies, which we need more of. Can you tell us a bit more about the inspiration and tell us about Christian Channel and about your work?
Sure. Thanks for having me on, Ron. I'm really excited to be here. And yeah, the Christian Channel started 5 years ago. I have a history. I've worked in marketing for about 10 years of my life here in Los Angeles. And I built up a career working with celebrities. So if you guys ever walk into Walmart or if you guys ever walk into Target and you see those big smiling face celebrities, I probably worked with those celebrities and helped build those brands up. So yeah, it's been fun. But what happened was I was your typical Catholic living in Los Angeles. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but, sinning 7 days a week, still going on, receiving the sacraments, on Sunday.
Oh, no.
I just didn't know my faith. So what happened was in Los Angeles, we had a fire at the cathedral, actually one of the missions, San Gabriel missions, which is not too far away from where I'm at right now. And yes. It was started by a madman who just didn't like the Catholic Church, and he burned down the church. And so what I did, I went over there and literally out of the ashes of that fire, I said, God, use me to make Catholic media to tell people the truth about our faith. And by the graces of God, God provided, right? I asked God, help. I had a lot of doubt. I didn't have much faith, right? I'm new to I've been a Catholic my whole life, but I just didn't have any faith. And so, I honestly, the first time, because this was an idea, it was a concept, right? And the idea was, how do we make like a Catholic Netflix or a Christian Netflix? Because what at the shows that were playing on the time were shows like Lucifer, and there were shows about witches. And as a Catholic,
it's all over Netflix, isn't it? Every second show is about horror, Netflix, Satanism. It's crazy.
It's crazy, but I honestly wasn't alone. This was during the pandemic, and what happened was we. Other Catholics felt the same way. So I was literally going on every single podcast and, just to back the brakes a second.
Yes.
I am not famous, just to let everyone know. So my strategy and what I learned from marketing was to work with famous people. And that's how we were able to achieve this. So the beautiful thing about Christian Channel, back then there wasn't a word for it, but now it's very popular with St. Carlo Acutis, who's like the saint of influencers. Yes. Back in 2017, that really wasn't a word, but that's what the strategy was influencer marketing. So what I did, I ended up reaching out to influential Catholic content creators, history content creators, and I said, hey, let's crowdfund and make Catholic movies and Christian movies about our faith. and they were very excited. So by the graces of God, we raised enough money to one, start a streaming service, and two, raise funds to make actual Catholic content. So to tell you the truth, Ron, these were all ideas, and I didn't know what I was doing, right? I've never managed a streaming service. I never did licensing deals. I never worked with Warner Brothers. I had no history in the movie business, and I had no business being in there. But by the grace, I did. And
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to turn on a camera. It's a miracle that I'm here with you
Wow.
today.
Wow.
The camera's on. So go.
So you haven't studied numerous bachelor degrees and masters in movie making. It's all from God's inspiration, right?
No, I mean, I did go. I was very blessed.
Oh, you did.
I did.
That's awesome.
I did. But I went to Penn State, which is a pretty big, popular university. If you're a football fan, go Nittany Lions. But yeah, it was a very popular school, and I was in communications, and my background was in media. So marketing and media, that's one thing. But getting into media production and actually being behind the camera, reading scripts, editing some scripts out, and production scheduling. So that was all new to me. I mean, literally didn't know what I was doing. So what I did was I hired some of what I believe the most talented people were in the film industry. And I met some great people, not so great people. That's how Hollywood is. It's like, hey, this person has never made a movie before. This person has made hundreds of movies. So obviously I didn't know what I was doing. Right.
Yeah.
But what I found out was what had happened was, when I worked with J. Stephen Roberts, who helped me write the scripts for Knights of the Cross, I approached him with an idea. How do we make a TV show about the Crusades? And I think we could crowdfund it. And so he was just as excited as I was. We both had no experience, but J. Stephen Roberts is the channel owner of Real Crusades History, which has around 300,000 subscribers. And his fans helped finance and crowdfund this project. So like, right when we got the money.
So his whole channel is dedicated on the Crusades. So he would have been an awesome assistance for you to create the script and so forth.
He was, and he's super passionate. And a lot of people don't know he's a Catholic. He's a devout Catholic, and he was just so amazing to work with. So we ended up fast forwarding to received the funds. We were in production, and this was during the pandemic, so we really couldn't film in California. We were booted out. So we ended up going to the state of Utah, and that's where we filmed episode 1 of Knights of the Cross, which was released on YouTube in 2022. And then right now, we got to come back to California, and we got to film the Battle of Jaffa, which is a very epic Crusader battle, a lot of blood, some horror, just a whole real Crusader film. But what I love about this project, Ron, we blended history with spirituality, with our faith. And a lot of people.
I noticed that. I watched a part of, because you sent me a link, and I watched a part of it. And I like that part where there is that link between the Catholic spirituality and the history of the Crusades. I thought that was awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was really, it wasn't linear. It evolved, right? We took us a long time to make this film. It's a 2-part miniseries, a TV series. And what I liked about this was we ended up blending purgatory in episode 1. If you watch episode 1, which is free on YouTube, we have a beautiful purgatory scene. Well, purgatory isn't beautiful, but I believe the most accurate purgatory scene we've ever filmed cinematically. And then if you watch the ending of episode 2, spoiler alert, ending of episode 2 is 59 years later after Richard the Lionheart's crusade, and we see an older Saint Simon Stock who's receiving the brown scapular from Our Lady. So there is that link of spirituality and fighting for our faith.
Beautiful. Yeah, every Catholic, I definitely recommend it for every Catholic to watch. Is it going to be released soon, like the episode 2, or can people access it on Christian Channel now, or is it not yet?
Great question. The answer is yes. You could definitely watch episode 2 right now, but we're still crowdfunding. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm asking for more money, but we're not even that far off. Right now, we raised $37,000, and our goal is $50,000. And the deadline for that crowdfund is October 31st of this year. And what happens when you make a pledge to that perk, your name is featured on the ending credits, and the official release date, the actual official release date with your name on the ending credits is December 28th on thechristianchannel.com.
Right.
Now, after in 2026, the goal is to get this beautiful Catholic film into big streamers like the Hulus and the Peacock TVs, because
that'll
we
be
need,
awesome.
yes, because it's great that we make this great content, and but we need to be in the world, but not of the world, right? We need to have Catholic content in the major streaming platforms, but I just don't believe, I mean, I know my analytics, I'm sure you do too. We want to reach millions of people. Before
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you a true story. I have an aunt. I'm here in Los Angeles. She's your typical Los Angeles lady. She's kind of she's a liberal lady. Let's put it that way. A very liberal lady.
Right.
And she saw episode 1. Now, she left her faith a long time ago. And I said, why don't you sit down and watch episode 1? And when she watched the purgatory scene, which is a very scary scene, if you're familiar with purgatory, there's flames, there's, naked, half naked people in there suffering, and it's very hot. So she said, wow, I've never seen purgatory like that before. So my goal with the show is to get fallen away Catholics to kind of be reminded that, hey, this life that we're living in right now, it's only temporary, and there is an eternal life. And I think we need to spend we need to live life.
And that's a lot of what the Crusaders taught us by watching the video. I could see that, like, they have that goal that's beyond this world. They have a vision, an inspiration to get to heaven ultimately, and they have that that motivating factor. That's what motivated them to do the Crusades and to battle and put their life on the line. Is that correct?
That's correct, but I wanted to add one more thing. The whole point of the show was, how do we imitate Christ in the midst of death, chaos, and destruction? And how do we act in it? Because, I notice a lot of popular influencers, Catholic influencers out there, and it's great to do apologetics, it's great to do debates, but the whole point of this show was to show how do we become virtuous, and how do we imitate the virtues of the saints. So we do sprinkle in the lives of the saints in the show, and we also wanted to showcase what life was like as a crusader told in the story of the crusade, because the whole point of the show was to fight for your faith. And that was the whole point in the very beginning of starting the Christian channel. How do we fight for our faith? Well, we need to start telling the truth. We need to do that in cinematically, and say, there's a lot of folks out there on the internet that say the Crusades were very bad. I mean, they killed and slaughtered so many innocent people. And I'm going to say this, it's a lot of that is propaganda. And I know from independent financing movies, this is an independent film. Though the reason why people hate the Crusades is because it's a propaganda film that hate Christianity. Because ultimately, the people financing those movies, I don't know their hearts, I don't know their souls, but they
have an agenda.
Exactly.
A hidden agenda. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, I'm going to get a little off the rails here, but it's just like, we just talked about shows like Lucifer. We just talked about shows about witches. I mean, the TV is in every single home in America, right? It influences us. So it makes us like, you could either, you want media to be beautiful, but you also want it to inspire and to make you virtuous. Like, there are some content creators out there, like we have a podcast on the Christian Podcast. We just interviewed David Henry from the Wizards of Waverly Place. And that's one thing I love about David Henry, who's a devout Catholic, by the way. David Henry is, he showcases his films to be a good father on TV. And we need more content like that. We need more virtuous men like that.
Yes.
Now, not everybody needs to be a crusader, right? But we wanted to show cinematically what was the life like during the Crusades. It was not peaceful. There was a lot of death. A lot of people died, but they fought for the faith. And what I love about episode 1 that we shot, Ron, was episode 1 was about not having enough faith. Because in the purgatory scene, let me step back. the story of the Third Crusade that we shot was true, but also we took some creative licensing. So this isn't true. This is just a cinematic film. But what happened was, the true story was, Richard the Lionheart went on Third Crusade. He kicked a lot of butt, but then he had a fever and he almost died. So as filmmakers, we said, why don't we, while he died, he hallucinates as if he was in purgatory. And then he saw his father, and the father was like, basically, do what I didn't do. I did not have the courage to fight for Christ and to fight for God. And he was still skeptical. Richard, even though he was in purgatory, was still skeptical. So what we ended up doing is, I'm Catholic. What is our number one strength? The Eucharist. It's God. It's God. So what happened was, he then hallucinates again, receives the Eucharist, and then literally levitates while he's receiving the Eucharist and wakes up from his dream. It's a metaphor to say, Christ gives us life. It gives us life. And so let's fast forward to episode 2. Episode 2, anyone who wants to donate, crowdfund episode 2 right now, the moment you crowdfund $149 to christianchannel.com, click on crowdfund. You could crowdfund it. Or if you go to donorbox.org/nights, the moment you crowdfund, you not only get your name on the ending credits, you could watch episode 2 right now. So there's no limit. The show, you could say, well, Austin, you're already done with the show. And I'm like, well, there's some special effects that need to be, we need to improve some special effects.
So you
it's
can
still
still
good.
improve. Yeah, it's still good, but you can still improve on it. And hopefully your end goal is to release it into like one of the mainstream platforms, like streaming platforms, like you said.
Exactly, Ron. And I wish I could tell you it's free to do that, but it's not. It costs a little bit of money to get on the big streaming platforms and for us to display this kind of content. But for now, it lives on the christianchannel.com. Anybody out there who wants to watch episode 1 and episode 2, all you have to do is go to christianchannel.com. You could buy the series for $35 and watch it tonight. So the good news is the show is pretty much 98% done. And anybody who supported us in the past could still stream it and watch it. So I'm really happy about that. But back to the story. Episode 2 is called The Battle of Jaffa. Now, our writer, J. Stephen Roberts from The Real Crusades History, he really wanted to pull this off. That was his dream. He was like, Austin, I want the Battle of Jaffa to be epic. And if you guys know history, the Battle of Jaffa takes place in Jaffa, in the Holy Land, on the beach. So it's a beach battle, and none of it was CGI. It was 100% live action, real Crusader gear. And when we first started making the show, we actually had fake props and fake gear. And can I tell you what it looked like, Ron?
Yeah, go on.
It looked terrible. It looked like it really looked fake. So we ended up using real Crusader gear, real props, and
wow, yeah.
Nobody died on set, thank God. But it looks really authentic, and that's one thing I want the fans to know is like this show, it, like I said, took 5 years to make, but we wanted to make it as authentic and as Catholic as possible. And I'm not trying to dog any other recent cinematic Catholic films, but we have to blend in the spirituality of it. That is another project. Crusader Tells us from a friend of ours over in Wisconsin.
That's another one, is it? I thought it was it's a different one. Sorry,
well, no, it is.
But we'll show a trailer of the Knights. I've got it up here. Whenever you're ready, let me know. We'll show a trailer.
Well, if any of you guys are curious, the wardrobe on that TV show is our wardrobe. So we ended up giving it to them because that's a great thing about being Christian filmmakers. There's two routes you could go in Hollywood. You could be very selfish and very prideful, all about me, or you could be charitable. So we ended up giving some of that. We ended up donating some of that and selling it at a very low price to that production because the whole thing about us in Christian filmmaking and what I love about your channel is we're very collaborative and we're very, you always want to help each other out. That's my goal. That's my vision. You have to think of the big vision, the mission.
Exactly. The big picture. That's right. And I wanted to share. Is it okay if we share the trailer, Knights of the Cross?
Absolutely.
But this is a trailer for season 1, a 2-part mini-series official teaser trailer. I'll see if we can get it up. Can you see that there? No, not yet. 1 second. All right, here it is.
Sire, Saladin has laid siege to Jaffa now with at least 10,000 men. The garrison is hard-pressed.
Saladin's men will overrun us.
Have faith, my lady.
We've heard that your king has set out from his army with a small detachment and that he is hunting our men.
If he is, then God alone can find him.
And how much would he give for you?
Holy Mother, guard over him. Guard over the Lionheart.
Gather the armies, march as fast as you can. I'll meet you there. God will be with us.
Saladin has not won. The Christian still holds the citadel, and they beg God for your help.
My God's calves. They'll never take the Christians! He had such few men. He cannot hold the beach.
He's advancing. He may soon reach our position here.
No, it's impossible!
Amazing. That's beautiful. And you directed the second episode. Is that right? Is that
I did.
How did that?
Oh wow! It was.
It looks like it was amazing scenes there. Like, where was it? Where did it take place?
Oh, it honestly took place in Los Angeles. A lot of the footage was.
Okay.
So we filmed in a chapel in Covina, California, and it looks very medieval. Like that's just
It does, yeah.
It's great cinematography.
And the battle scenes, they look pretty awesome as well.
They were fun. They were fun. We got the film in Malibu before the fires. We had this huge fires in California. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I know,
Hollywood
yeah.
sign was on fire.
Yes.
I thought it was a chastisement, to be honest with you. I was like, this town is ridiculous. But directing was honestly, I directed it because I had a priest. I was chatting with the priest. And we had a bit of a tight budget, and I said, Father, I was during confession too, by the way. I said, Father, I just don't know what to do. And he literally got out of it. He's just shaking me, like if it was the Godfather, like Marlon Brando shaking the other character, like, you got to direct it. So a priest told me to direct, and this was my first time directing. So honestly, the only reason why it looks good, Ron, is because I was very blessed to work with a very talented team behind the project. I can't take all the credit for it. A lot of the talent, Vic and a lot of Rob and everybody involved, literally took just under 100 people to make the show come alive. And it took over, I think,
Can't believe you did it with such a low budget as well. It's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it was. We raised just under $100,000, and it cost just a tad over that. And so, thank God I had I'm still in marketing. Christian channel is kind of a side thing. I wish it could be full time, but we were able to complete as much as we did, and work with cinematic equipment and lighting and sound. So it's all for God. And my goal for the show is, if you have anybody that, in your family that kind of left the faith and you want to, catechize them without being rude and being preachy during, Christmas or Thanksgiving, just say, hey, I just crowdfunded a show and I want you to take a look at what do you think? And so
And it's such a powerful form of evangelization. You know how many people have spoken to me, family members and just random people in the public, about The Chosen. They said, oh, I can't believe how great it is and how it's impacted on their spiritual life and their journey back to their faith. And I'm saying, oh, wow. Like, I've watched a few of the episodes of The Chosen, but it's just had such an amazing impact. Can you imagine if we had like a Catholic version or a Catholic miniseries such as the Knights of the Cross and other future ones, God willing, how powerful that will be to bring people back to the Catholic faith?
Oh,
So
yeah.
so important. Very important.
I agree with you. I think if I had to do it, if anybody out there wants to reach me, you can reach me at my email. I'll give it to Ron so they can link it below. I would like to do a Poem of the Man God. I think that would be wonderful.
That would be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So you're a fan of Poem of the Man God. That's great.
Anything that imitates Christ, because
So, mate,
I know the Catholic.
That'll be the best miniseries
Oh, yeah.
ever.
Yeah, working in media, working in the film side of the business, I got to meet a lot of great people, and a lot of the guys in The Chosen, have been that everyone know behind the scenes when we were filming in Utah, we picked up a couple The Chosen staff to work with us. So, so everybody knows everybody, but I think anything's possible if God is in the center of it, because sure. I can't take credit for it. God uses all of us. Like, God's using us right now to talk about the show. I just hope if God's calling me to make Poem of the Man God, or God's calling me, I'm going to confess something to you, Ron, and maybe your fans out there. My big dream project is to make Our Lady of Guadalupe. I've never said that publicly. I think I said it once, and I had a big producer reach out to me and say, when are you making that movie? And I have to be honest with you. It would have to be cinematic, and it would have to be in the scale of a Mel Gibson. It would have to be of that level of Passion of the Christ. And what I've learned, I failed a lot in film, but what I've learned, and I don't know if your audience cares, is you have to work backwards. The marketing in you has to come out and say, how much money can we make with Our Lady of Guadalupe? Because you have to report to investors like, well, maybe we can make $20 million. And then you have to work backwards. And I just think it's not fair to Our Lady if I made a film like of Our Lady of Guadalupe of that scale and a low quality. I'm not saying Knights wasn't too low of a quality, but it's just under $100,000. And I think for Our Lady, I would do my best to make the most beautiful film I can.
That will be awesome, definitely. So we ask our audience, please support Christian channel. Go on Christian channel, and you can find the Crusades of the Cross there. And let's also keep Austin in our prayers, because we need people like that, good, strong Catholics that are willing to fight, like you said, fight for the faith. And that's how we're fighting for the faith, by spreading the truth, by spreading good media, as you're doing. So God bless you, Austin, and you're in our prayers, definitely.
Thank you, Ron, for having me on. I'm glad to be here. And everyone out there, if you could go to christianchannel.com, click on crowdfund, and get your name featured on the ending credits before October 31st, we would greatly appreciate it. And if you don't, it's okay. December 28th is our release date, so you could watch it on christianchannel.com.
Take care. Hopefully we'll have you back on in the future to tell us more about your projects.
Okay, wonderful.
Take care, everyone.